Into Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
It's been so long, I've forgotten what to do. Well, maybe I'll actually try hitting the gavel as opposed to breaking a piece of equipment. Good evening. Yeah, and I've forgotten what to say. So I think I am, my name is Denise Short. I'm the chair of the Sustainability Advisory Committee, and this is our December meeting. I think I start out by introducing people. Okay. So Sarah Koff, thank you. It's been a while. Nina Braun, Julie Gaunt, Shatna Palmer, and Jim Breeling. And then from the town, we have Kristen Murphy, who's the planner and sustainability person extraordinaire for the town, and Dan Chartrand representing the select board. So thank you, everybody, for being here. So I'm calling the meeting to order. And I think then it's public comment. If there is any, I have a copy of the agenda. Yes, I'm just gathering my thoughts. So I have not received any public comment. Does anybody else have anything from the public? And I don't think there's anybody online who is commenting. Someday I look forward to having a public comment. So that could be a goal for next year. So the first item is to approve the minutes of our last meeting, which I'm sorry to say was all the way back in October, which seems a very long time ago. October 1st. So that was a part of the meeting packet. And I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of the October 1st meeting.
A motion to approve the minutes.
And any discussion? Did anyone have any revisions or commentary? I'll comment and say they were very good minutes. I think, Julie, you put those together?
Yes.
All right. If there's no discussion, then, I need a second.
I'll second. Yep.
Okay. And all those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Excellent. And on to the first real item on the agenda, official, is the Sustainable Partner Program Subcommittee update. And Sarah, Julie, and Kristen have been involved with this, and we got some materials in the meeting packet. So who would like to talk about that?
I'll kick it off just to open it up, but
Okay.
hope you will contribute. So we were, I honestly can't remember if we talked about this initially as a committee. I think we introduced it.
Yes.
So this is a program that would work to partner with local businesses and highlight some of the sustainable efforts they're already doing as kind of a way to recognize their current contributions, but then also be sort of a carrot to draw them along a little bit further in that path. So the three of us, Julie, Sarah, and I got together and brainstormed a list of different criteria that people that businesses could implement and earn a point system, and then you could progress through the system much like the LEAD sustainable program. So I don't know if one of you want to take it from there, but your packet has kind of our best attempt. We did some tweaking back and forth and had a couple meetings in between the last time we talked about it. And so your packet has both the criteria, the baseline, the point system, as well as some graphics that were designed that could become window decals. So, I guess,
Start writing. You go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to add other than like you can see that there are different categories. We tried to make it as inclusive to as many different kinds of businesses as we could, or not just businesses, but organizations, anything that's within Exeter. And so, that was tricky to try to make as many people feel like they could be part of it as possible. And so I also spoke to a lot of different a few different business owners, showed them the list and said, what do you think? Would you participate in this? Like, what's it missing? And got a decent amount of feedback and added a bunch for especially retail. We had sort of neglected the retail side of things. So that was really helpful to do. And so that's that.
Could I jump in?
Yeah.
First of all, my apologies for not getting back to you in a more timely way. But once you sent it to me and I was able to look at it, I made the time to look at it. The feedback you got was really good because as a retailer, I felt like there was stuff for us to do that we are doing and for us to do in the future. So that was good feedback you got. If you felt like you were falling short, you're not anymore. There's plenty for us to get working on.
Good.
But it also works for like food businesses, and so it's just that I think you hit. As I was thinking about all the different businesses in my little community of downtown businesses, I think you hit all the types of businesses, and there's stuff for all of us to work on that's appropriate for our business. So I thought it was really well done. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got good feedback from some of the business owners that they definitely would participate, and two of them actually were like, I've already checked off so many boxes, I would get gold. And they were so excited, and they were like, but I want more. So it was like doing what we wanted. That people were excited about it, and like almost the competition of it, like having points, and so that felt good.
So I think there are a couple decision points for the committee, right? So one, hopefully you've had a chance to look through the categories and the point system, just hoping to get some sort of tweaking or buy-in. I think at the end of this meeting, we'd like to walk away with a committee-supported program. So however we get us there, I hope that happens tonight. So the decision points are, does the criteria make sense for you? Sarah, you got some great feedback in terms of process, right? And then Chetna, you had raised some, I don't know if you want to mention some of your recommendations or inquiries about process.
Yeah, I mean, I've implemented similar programs in the past, and the sort of shortfall always tends to be in terms of how, businesses can, they may be at the bronze level, and then what mechanisms are there to demonstrate that they can that they're moving on to the next level, and who depending on the criteria of the organization, the business, whether you give them, who is sort of holding them to account to say, oh, they've moved on to the next level. And so you'll have the skeptic, and you'll have the other end of saying, well, a organization, a business can be at a level, and then they're never followed on. They're not given a report on how they can improve or move on to the next level. So, and what is the incentive for them to do that? There've been sort of programs where is similar to like a Green Alliance program that used to run a few years ago, where if customers went to that organisation to purchase something that and they were a member of Green Alliance, they would get 10% off, and it was encouraging people to support businesses who are more environmentally conscious and doing all the best they can, and then. You've got a whole range of different retailers. You've got the retail, you've got the cafes, the restaurants, and it's also in terms of what mechanisms is the town supporting them to move on to that level to really demonstrate that Exeter is sustainable or heading towards a level of sustainability when it comes to especially consumerism side of things. And again, support from some businesses in terms of encouraging them to recycle their boxes or to have a waste management company that will actually, collect the boxes and be recycled, and composting as well, is another issue. So my reservation here is down to the fact that, what support is there that these businesses would get in moving up the criteria to gold and beyond, and what frequency, if at all, are you looking to making sure that organisation or that business, are you giving them a year? Are you giving them 2 years? Are you, what is there? It's past experience. Businesses can be, very enthusiastic to begin with, and then with staff changeover, with other differences or different changes happening within that business, things fall apart, fall away. Mm-hmm. So nothing is improved. So I'm just subconscious in terms of, is it the committee's responsibility to go and sort of help these businesses to move on to the next level? Are we sort of auditing them, X number of times a year? What is it? What is the criteria? Are we really, putting forward?
So I will say initially we started with the concept of this is sort of an honor system, right? Like it's a web form and we encourage businesses to fill it out. But then in meeting with the businesses, I think as a subcommittee, we thought we would tweak that a little, so.
Yeah, people strongly felt that they would like an in-person visit and conversation at the very least, to go along with maybe a web form or whatever, the initial application, maybe it's called. And I think that makes sense. Yes, it's time, but I see our subcommittee continuing as a subcommittee for the foreseeable future. And like being willing to, I'm happy to have conversations with businesses, even if they're not even at the point of joining this program. Like maybe they're new and they would like to be part of it, but they don't know how. Like having almost like a consultation to give them some ideas. And I actually had a great conversation with Keith Whitehouse, who used to own Yeti Landscaping. And because I was like, could you see yourself, if you still owned Yeti, like using this? And he was like, well, no, because blah, 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 like it doesn't apply. And he was very kind. He was like, I would love to, but like we can't go eco on our appliances because it doesn't. So then I showed him all these other ways that he could, in these other categories. We have so many categories. He's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure, we do that. We have cleanup days. We have, we teach our customers how to be environmental and not clean up the leaves. And so it's like, there you go. So anyway, having these conversations would be easy and fun for the most part, I think, for me. And I think could be a good service to the town. And as far as like keeping it up year to year, I do think we haven't like talked about like what we're going to do on a yearly basis, but I do think that the idea is that people will be motivated to get up to the next level if they want to. There's going to be a sign in their window saying I've gotten gold, bronze, silver, whatever certification, and maybe their next door neighbor has a higher one and they want to show them up, or I don't know. The idea is sort of like one of self-motivation, and and we're also planning to award them by having them listed on the website and like sharing about them on social media, and giving them a decal for their website. So like there's different ways that they can be rewarded. And I asked the shop owners, like, would that feel like a good enough reward? And they were like, yeah, put us on your website. We want that.
And another thing that was interesting, and Nina, this might be up your alley more than mine, but because web metrics isn't something I deal with much, but they talked about, linking to our website helps our website. And so So the things that we talked about to highlight the businesses was, the decal on the window, a web page listing the participants and their levels with a link to their website. And then potentially we talked about expanding on Alewife Festival, or I don't know what the frequency is, Earth Week, who knows, sometime that is, that the billboards downtown or the kiosks downtown are accessible to actually display and highlight them once a year. We know that those are kind of a high commodity. It's tough to get space on those boards, so we kind of need to sit and think about the time of year and when that billboard is less used, but that could be a way to highlight them as well, right? Was there anything else, Julie?
There's, I mean, that's part of an implementation plan. I think what we want to approve is the sort of the overall idea or goal, and this as a tool. And, it could be that the subcommittee comes back with a 1-page or 2-page document about what are the rewards, or how do you implement, or how do you, it's self-reporting, maybe reviewed once a year. But, there's many ways that businesses could leverage this for themselves. It's not just the decal in their window, but and the town's social media, including the website, may be the sustainability page on Facebook. But when you go to, say, Google Review or Google Maps, and they're able to put a sticker or a sentence saying that we met or exceeded, and somebody's saying, find me a, jewelry store near me, or, whatever, have that be part of their Google profile, so that there's many ways in which you can promote it on social media besides just the town's website. Mm-hmm. And we could, your group could, or we could help you, detail those, what are they, small rewards, and then you could go to a business and you could say, if you participate, here's all the ways we've thought of how you promote your success and how we'll help you. I don't think, the margins of business are so small. I doubt that a 5 or 10% discount is going to be a popular item, but social media presence certainly is. I think it's bringing more customers into the door. So I really like this. I think my ideas are that as you talk to business owners and, maybe starting downtown, expanding to greater Exeter, that you have a flexible way of adding criteria to the list, and then also dropping criteria that don't seem to be popular or not, pursued by anyone. So that you can evolve over time. You actually create a process of internal change management where you can, and if you think of new categories, add them and make it a next year goal. So I think this is a great idea, and it's voluntary, it's self-reported. You guys are acting as, the committee is acting as a consultant to businesses. I think that's a wonderful initiative. Is there how do we get a list of businesses in town?
Yeah,
I was going to make the
way,
point that, if I can jump in.
please do.
Apologize for interrupting. We should work with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
Now, their membership is not a complete list of businesses in town. There's some businesses that choose not to be a part, but that would be a great place to start. And they would be very excited about helping us roll something like this out. And they have a staff of 3, so they have some firepower. One of the main reasons I support the Chamber so thoroughly, I actually serve on their board, is that together, all those businesses paying their dues puts 3 professional economic development people in the field in the Exeter area.
That's great.
And it's not just Exeter, it's the Exeter area. So our impact could actually be wider than just Exeter, which is wonderful, because we're all bound together in a seamless garment. So that's, I think, a partner we should reach out to, and I'd be happy to make that happen. Just to follow up on the point that you made and that Sarah made, and I think you made it as well, Chetna. I think all these, at least small businesses like mine, we're all hungry for ways to generate recognition, especially via social media. You know, it's like always looking for good content. This is great content for a business's social media campaign. And it'll not just be something that we can promote, ourselves, but it also promotes the ideas behind sustainability to our patrons. Because in the end, all these businesses are really about developing communities around their business. So you're getting the multiplier effect of these businesses promoting the fact that they're working towards being more sustainable, and that helps to raise awareness that their community members, whether it's their patrons or their staff or their vendors, should also be working towards that. So there's this great multiplier effect that happens. I'll be quiet now.
I think it's a great idea. I'm not a business owner in Exeter, but I'm a business owner in Portsmouth, and I wish we did something like this and there. And I think, just the recognition, just to be able to say, I don't know if you're familiar with B Corps, but it's along those lines, you know. I walked into a business the other day and they had their big B Corp logo. I was like, okay, good. You know, they're a new shop in town, and I was kind of like, but, you know, a chain. But I saw that and instantly knowing what that was, and then I heard some people asking, well, what is a B Corp? So I think it's a great way to recognize the efforts, because it is, I mean, I know for my own business and, you know, keeping in line with those sustainability practices and who I source from and how I get rid of my waste and who I contact after they ship me something in styrofoam or you know, over packaged. You know, nobody, not that I need to announce what I'm doing, but it'd be nice to then have customers coming to me because they see that I'm practicing, you know, these things, and I think it's super beneficial.
That's great.
Yeah, so nice.
I think it's a fabulous program, and I think, thinking about what you were saying, Chetna, I hear that about, you know, how does it actually work, and how, you know, that it takes time and effort to follow up and make it be a really effective program, you know, after the initial enthusiasm. But I think it could hardly be more in our lane as the Sustainability Advisory Committee, because it does so many things in terms of education and awareness and actually promoting sustainability practices in many, many different ways. And I was even thinking when you were saying about the, you know, having a web page of some sort, people who are businesses who are in the program or interested there could be like a chat function where they share, like, oh, this is how I did this, or I was working on this particular part. I mean, I think there's so many different ways. So if we start establish the program, we can support the program, and then I think we'll figure out how, as Jim was saying, how to implement it in a sustainable way. But I think it's very exciting, because there's a lot of different, one of the things that is, I think, sometimes difficult about the area that we're in, the sustainability area, is there's so many things, and it's easy to say, oh, look at this. This is exciting. Let's do this. But this seems like a really, it casts a wide net, and I think that's a great thing. So,
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
I also love that it's more about carrots than sticks. It's a program that motivates people by, giving them a status within their community. And that's not to say there isn't a time for a stick at times to move people, but it's great that it's more about motivating these businesses and the communities around them to gain the recognition that comes with being more sustainable. So I forgot to say that.
I love that idea, Denise, though, of if we included what numbers of the criteria a business signed up for, then other businesses could be like, oh, you're doing number 7? I was thinking about it. Who do you use? And so that's a great way to sort of create those connections.
Those connections that, so many different things.
Chetna, you mentioned something that was tried before called the Green Alliance. Is there any documentation of what that was, or we could review, or to see what they tried and what was included in becoming a Green Alliance certified business?
Yeah, so it was mainly a green marketing scheme program. So that was a way of getting businesses to sign up to different levels, and then similar to here, like criteria-wise, and then they had the sticker in their window, and then you had members, like customers would pay a membership like $20 for a year or whatever, and if they went to that business, you would get, as a Green Alliance member, you would get 10% off by going there.
And that was a town program?
It wasn't. Yeah, it was around Seacoast. Yeah,
around the Seacoast.
I remember advertising for it on.
And then
some radio stations.
Yeah, it was on radio stations. And then the different businesses had were profiled in the local newspaper, and they were given marketing help. But I put a similar program called Greening the High Street in UK, which was similar, and it was. My thing with what Dan said, I would really encourage using the Chamber of Commerce and trying to, have a breakfast meeting with local businesses to talk about how, giving examples of how companies or businesses can implement certain simple, quick wins, right? Because as a business, your main task is to obviously keep the footfall and get people through the door, and obviously pay rent and everything else, and also make a profit at the end of the day. And when that help isn't there of how you could improve, and if it's going to cost that business money to implement anything, that's the first thing that's going to go out the window. Is those kind of volunteer practices that we are expecting businesses to adopt. And I think comes back to our sort of over the years conversation of utilizing the chamber and doing workshops on, looking at different suppliers for compostable material, or trying to band together different businesses to say, okay, we can have a dedicated bin for cardboard, at a place which is utilized by more than one business. It makes it cheaper. The cost of that can be spread across those different businesses, and really encourage those businesses to recycle cardboard, for example, right? Likewise with composting, to have a communal, composting bin that can be utilized by the different restaurants and cafes, would make sure that the financial impact of an individual business isn't as much as it would be for a collective. So looking at ways in which, if we go through this process of how, as a committee, we can help to bring businesses together to say, okay, let's band together to do this and make it more financially viable for them. Because the retail business is tough at the moment, and likewise for the restaurants, and to then ask them to provide more sustainable products in terms of packaging or whatever, it may not happen because of the cost issues, right? So it's I think it's really important for us to sort of use as many partners, using the chamber, trying to come up with different ways in which we can really sort of galvanize and bring together different businesses in town. And there's a lot of different schemes around. Anna uses a scheme where, you can buy a reusable sort of, coffee cup, which you put a deposit down for $5, and it's got a barcode on it. You take it home, with your coffee, with your hot chocolate, whatever, so every time you go back to her shop, you get slightly less off the coffee or the hot chocolate but you are reusing that, that product. Likewise with takeaway, takeout, and doggy bag sort of stuff, not using styrofoam. There are, I think Portsmouth has it. I don't know if you've come across that, but there is a scheme where you can have metal containers where, again, they're barcoded. Restaurants will give you one. It's sort of scanned so that they know that you've got it. You can take your leftover food home, and then when you're coming back into town, you can bring it back and give it back to the restaurant. And then you've got different restaurants also adopting the same scheme, so you don't have to drop it back off at the same restaurant that you picked it up from. You can go be dropped off at any other restaurant. So I think there is a lot of things that can make it happen, and trying to make it a positive experience, but for both the retailers and the businesses in town, but at the same time, not coming across as a program where it happens and then that's it, right? And then it just sort of filters away because businesses don't know how to move on to the next level, or customers become cynical, and it's.
Well, I think that's why it's so important to have conversations and to meet face to face and develop relationships with these business owners, and then connections can be made. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, you could do that, as opposed to just filling out a form. And that feels a lot less human.
So trying to create a motion for next step. What would you folks who are kind of leading, like from the full committee endorsing, what would you like us to vote on to move the project forward?
Go ahead.
So maybe just a general statement on the value of the mission as being, as Denise said, dead center on the, with the goal of the committee. We see this as being dead center.
Really do, yeah.
And that continue to work and bring implementation ideas back for the full committee in town to consider. Is that sort of reasonable?
Or support the launch of the program? Do you feel there's more work that you want to see before you're ready to launch this effort?
I don't. I mean, I think if launch means, yeah, let's go forward with seeing how we can make this happen.
Yeah, with those caveats of, I'd love let's modify, have an option to review this criteria, and these never get chosen, so let's modify it in years down the road,
Right. I think the motion should include approving the material that was provided in the meeting packet as the initial criteria and program as laid out in the packet, and that we move forward with next steps in terms of implementing, and the subcommittee can come back with what they need from the rest of us, and And I see there's a next, the point B about the approving the expense for window stickers. So that should be a separate thing? Okay. So is there a clear statement somewhere in?
I kind of made up something.
Okay, do you want to read?
I was kind of ad-libbing what you did, but a motion to approve the program description and materials provided in the meeting packet as laid out and submitted to the committee, and to move forward with several next steps.
To launch
Move
a,
forward with implementation.
the Sustainable Partner Program.
That's good.
Yeah.
You good at
So I have a motion to,
You good at this, Julie? You got game.
Can you read it and I'll second it?
A motion to approve the program description and materials as laid out in the meeting packet and move forward with implementation of the Sustainable Partner Program.
That's the motion?
That's the motion.
that's the motion. Any discussion, any further
No,
discussion?
the second first.
Oh, second
Yeah,
first.
I second
So
it.
Julie made the motion.
I was just reading the motion. Sure, yeah, I motion.
You motion.
I motion.
And does that work for the subcommittee?
Oh,
Does that work?
Okay.
yeah.
So now discussion. On the-
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Excellent. Yay. Thank you for all your work. That's,
Do we also want to make another motion to seek approval for the window sticker costs?
yes.
You have a budget for that you, and it's within what the town has for the committee?
Yeah, so there's $611 that remains in the sustainability line item in the planning department budget. We're not proposing to use all of that. We went back and forth with a couple different designs, so my recommendation is a not to exceed amount, because we're still we wanted to make sure that the product that we purchase, the company that produces it also, walks the walk for sustainability. So I was thinking not to exceed $250.
Okay, I move that the Sustainability Committee approve not to exceed $250 for the initial purchase of stickers.
Are they compostable?
Those parts in detail, that's kind of why it's a not to exceed, because there's pros and cons to a couple different companies that we've been looking at, and so we'll see. Yeah. But if you support that purchase, I think we'll commit to get the best product that we can.
I'll second. And any discussion?
Have to be plastic free.
Plastic free.
I'm happy to take recommendations from companies.
I don't know, can you have a window decal that's plastic free?
Can. Mm-hmm. Can. Yep. And PFAS free and all kinds of.
So
Options.
is that an amendment to the motion?
Yes.
I think it's
Chetna is
important.
offering an amendment to the motion.
Yeah, so
I think it's important to, if we're going to walk the talk, I think
Do you have a source for that? Because that would be helpful, probably, for them spending the time researching. So if you have a vendor, I know from my own searching for vendors.
But, so we know that it's possible to have
Very
a
possible.
plastic-free window sticker?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I would,
Denise, the way you would do that is ask Jim if he would accept the amendment.
would you accept the
Yeah, so
amendment?
let me restate the amendment, the motion with an amendment. I move that we approve an amount of not to exceed $250 for the initial purchase of the window stickers, making them as sustainable as possible. Second?
I'll second it. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Opposed? Nay. Motion passes. Excellent. Is the town going to get a sticker too?
I would imagine.
Just, I'll make that comment. I thought that's interesting. It would be interesting to think about town.
Competition.
Yeah, a competition, interdepartmental
Yeah, you
competition.
can certify different departments.
All right, moving on, the composting campaign. And here's another subcommittee that looks extremely familiar. Sarah, Julie, and Kristen. So I reviewed the food waste survey. And so what's the status of moving forward with that?
So at the last meeting, we talked about having sort of this event, and it was addressing composting and vermiculture and all of these other options. And we thought maybe let's first gather some data behind what the community is looking for in terms of composting. So we proposed a draft food waste survey. Which was in your packet.
Yep.
Feel free to add to that.
Who would take this survey?
So it would be advertised on the town's website. We hope all residents in town would participate,
Yep.
business owners, multifamily
Okay.
units, single family. We really kind of want to get as robust insight as we can. And I will say, before we went to this, Sarah had the idea, we've already run a composting program. Let's kind of get some feedback from that program. And so I did summarize that in the memo that I shared
Yes.
before the meeting. And I thought it was really insightful, actually. So I just want to highlight, I know I shared it already, but for the massive audience online that might be listening.
Yes.
So the questions were simple. Do you use your compost bin? These were those new composters that received a compost bin that we had the email addresses for. Do you use your compost bin? If so, do you have any issues with it? Any questions, any takeaways? If not, can you explain why? And so we received, I think it was 14 individuals that we sent the email to, and received 4 responses back, which is still 28%,
Yeah.
which is exciting.
High
You gotta do a little math to make yourself feel good. All 4 of them still compost today, and all 4 did not like the bins that we sent out, which was, shocking to me, because I love that bin.
Is that the green Mr. Fox?
So it was Mr. Fox's original bin. They used the charcoal storage bin, the Kingsford charcoal storage bins, because they have a really tight locking lid.
Oh, yeah.
But there's problems with it. One, the bin
They
that
leak.
we chose was too small, it's difficult
Yeah,
to
they
clean,
leak,
etc.
yes.
And then we heard a resounding, it's really hard to get to the transfer station. It just is. That alone is a barrier to some folks. And a number of people would just store their compost in the freezer because they couldn't get there frequently enough.
I do that in the summer.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I wish I could fit it in my freezer. Yeah, so that was interesting to me. And there were also some direct suggestions. One was someone expressed interest in trading weekly recycling to every other week and offer curbside composting, which I thought was an interesting out-of-the-box way of thinking. As we know, we're still kind of, looking at our solid waste approach down the road. And then all of them expressed a desire for a more central drop-off location. So
Other than the transfer station.
other than the transfer station.
is that even possible?
No, not at this point, but
Yeah.
I say, let's take the feedback and let's think on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing obvious comes to mind. So I guess to start with the survey, this is what we came up with.
Yeah.
We're hoping that this will give us enough insight to kind of help craft our composting community needs, and
Yep.
maybe inform future goals around composting.
I forgot to look ahead. Is there a question on there, like, if you want to compost, where would you go? Like, is there something about asking, to the point about people saying central location, what is central?
Oh,
Is that
that's
something
a
worth
great
adding?
idea.
The back door of the town.
Yeah, it is.
Outside.
Curbside,
That
obviously,
will
yeah.
not happen.
Yeah, so 6.3.2 is if there was a centralized public drop-off site in town, would you be likely to use it? Why or why not? And then we should maybe add a B, what do you
What?
consider centralized?
Yeah, or where would be most convenient for you to drop off? And we might get a bunch of my backyard, like, well, okay,
Right.
then go ahead.
I did express some hesitation with this particular item because I hate to promise something that we can't deliver.
Oh, yeah.
right, And then be held to that. So, but if it will help, it will at least help us better understand what people are seeking and what the barriers are.
Yeah.
And the barrier to another location is,
Well, who would agree to host that location? Because there is some,
so there's no town
there's some
property.
odor involved, and
Yeah.
and you know, insect life tends to congregate around. So the transfer station's a great place for it for that reason. It's not a great place in that we don't require a sticker on your car if you want to drop off compost.
Yeah.
That creates some difficulties in the management of the transfer station.
Yes.
So, you know, we're getting by out there.
Yeah.
But this is good feedback, and if it forces us to look at something else down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have to be someplace that, you know, is not.
What about the DPW?
Still a way out.
They got a lot going on out there. They already take all of our other waste and process it out there.
That's
But yeah,
true.
maybe. I don't know, is that more central? Would people consider that more central?
It's closer for me, personally.
It's closer to the center of
It's
town.
right off the highway.
It would be interesting to hear what people consider
Yeah,
central.
so this is great. It's relatively easily implementable to do the survey if it's just on the web. I had commented about moving some of the top questions down to the bottom, the sort of demographic questions, just to engage people right away, like to start out with, do you compost your food waste? And then sort of the central part first, and then at the bottom, what's your housing type? Do you rent or own? I'm not sure what do you directly manage the waste stream in your household means. Like,
Do you take the trash to the end?
do you take the trash?
Yeah, who
do you
takes the
take out
trash
the
to the end of the driveway?
It sounds so much more important.
Since
Do
I
you
live
directly
alone,
manage?
I directly manage the waste
Add
stream in my household.
I indirectly manage the waste stream in my household. And it is not an effective system. So any other comments on the survey, or can we do a motion to?
I think if you, looking at the number 9, do you own a business in Exeter? How do you manage the waste stream for your business? If you wanted to be, or just again gather some information with regards to the partnership sticker program, whether there would be mileage in sort of asking that business whether they would be willing to come into sort of like as a collective, be part of a collective with other businesses. I think
Yeah, I mean, that is a 101 of like organizing waste streams, right? And recycling streams is
Yeah.
the more you can sort of make it a neighborhood thing, the more effective it is.
Yeah.
And the more it becomes kind of a community effort. So I think you're right on target there.
So just adding that would be a good start.
It can be difficult to coordinate,
Oh, yeah, totally.
but it makes it more effective.
Yeah.
It makes it something we all do together. And God knows we need more things to do
Yeah.
together.
But if enough businesses answer yes, then we know that we are sort of heading to, we can head towards a plan to say, okay,
Yeah.
this is how we can go about implementing it.
Communities that do things together are way more fun to live in and way more effective, so,
They sure are.
yeah.
So something like, would you partner with other businesses to co-manage your composting?
Or other residential,
Businesses.
Yeah.
businesses or residences, because it's both.
Because that would also give you an insight into if there was another location, more central, so if a business was willing to have a compost bin within their sort of surrounding area, so to speak, then you could have, okay, X amount of people who are near that business could use it, as residents could use it. So again, there's another sort of thing. Information is good.
Do the schools compost?
Well,
Phillips Exeter does.
The what?
Phillips Exeter does.
Do Lincoln Street and Main
I
Street?
was on the green team when we started composting at Lincoln Street, and I don't know if they continued through the pandemic.
Yeah.
That's a good video that they made with Mr. Fox. Was that before the COVID? I think it was after.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Is this, if it's going to be on the web, is this, you're thinking of doing like a Word document with yes or no questions, or
Like a Google form?
a Google form? So
pretty
you have
simple,
spaces to
too.
fill out? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's-
And then it automatically
so-
quantifies your results?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And the town has the development people to create that kind of Google form? Or you have that expertise?
I've done it for others. I don't know that I'm there's a little learning curve to it.
Right,
So
right.
we did do a test run of it, and I think it worked okay.
Okay,
It's challenging because a lot of these are conditional questions.
right.
But I think we've got it.
You did
Yep.
a great job.
Thank you.
Okay. I move that we develop a survey along the lines of these questions for the town website and collect the data.
I second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
All right?
Aye. Opposed? Excellent. On we go. Styrofoam. So we had the styrofoam collection at the end of October, and the densifier is here.
The densifier is here. I'm really excited to announce that
We need a
have
drum roll.
densifier. There's been a little tweak on how we plan to implement it. So the densifier uses three-phase power, which, although we brought three-phase power to the transfer station for the solar array, it's the way it's set up, it's not something that we can tap into. So the plan now is to have the collection bins at the transfer station. We'll have 2 collection bins at the transfer station. So from the public's perspective, you're just driving through and able to drop your styrofoam off, as you would
Yep.
if the densifier was there. On the other end of the transfer station property, off of Kingston Road, there's an entrance.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, a lot of people go, if they're doing yard debris that way, sometimes they
Yep.
enter that way. So that's where the densifier will be housed. There's 3-phase power right there. DPW is working with Unitil to get an additional pole added, and DPW can connect it. So the densifier is on site and ready to go. I think Steve said he would be getting the bins at the transfer station. They may, if they're not there now, they're like eminently being
Steve, the director of
Steve
DPW.
Cronin.
Yep.
Yeah, DPW director. So if they're not there yet, they will be there very soon. the cool thing about this other approach is, so when you enter the other direction from Kingston Road, we have this big barn there, Simpson's Barn, and it creates a sort of out-of-the-way space. So when we do migrate to a regional collection, it's a really convenient drop zone. And so those regional collections, one will have this, potentially have this large space in the barn to store the super sacks until they can be processed. And two, will not impact the flow and traffic and other concerns.
So it
of
eliminates the question about who has a permit and who's allowed into the transfer station.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So
That's great.
it was a difficult thing to hear, but it worked out for the best in my opinion. I'm really excited about this approach. We still plan to slow roll the the launch of a regional program. We'll start just local to Exeter, see what kind of quantity of styrofoam we're getting, what kind of staff we need to do processing and the frequency of that, and then that there is additional a permit that we'll need from DES to modify. It's like a notification that we need to provide them when we want to go regional. But I actually think it's going to work out better this way. So,
Can I ask you a question?
yeah.
It sounds like Steve Cronin's done some good work on this.
Oh my gosh.
As your partner?
Yeah. Yes.
I really want to thank him for doing that.
Yeah. He has been phenomenal. And
He's got a lot on his
he's
plate.
got so much on his
And
plate.
for him to take time to figure this out is really phenomenal. So I'm very
Even-
grateful to him.
Even the
I'm grateful to
detail-
you for
yeah.
masterminding this, but I'm grateful to him for
Absolutely.
being such a good partner.
And even like the minutia of like how to work with Unitil for how to hook up the electronics, like it is a phenomenal amount of work that he's done to make this happen. So
Is there
really
something we
exciting.
can do to specifically thank him?
I don't know. Send pizzas to the highway staff when they're plowing. Concom and I do that once a year. I don't know. Maybe you guys can tack onto that effort.
I like that you're doing sort of the crawl, walk, run. And I guess I didn't realize, we had a presentation a while back where they're talking about regional styrofoam collection. What's the extent of the region they're looking at for Exeter? Is it all of Rockingham County? Is it SAU 16 towns? Is it, do we have a definition of what our aim is going to be to collect?
So there's the dream big approach, which is, you have a radius of like, I don't know, whatever mileage that is convenient for people to haul styrofoam to you. And there's multiple of these throughout the state. Right now, it will only be Guilford and Exeter.
Okay.
And so I love Guilford's model of bring it. It ultimately is
No matter how
income
far
for
away
our
you are.
community. As long as you can get it to us, that's on you. The beauty of the super sacks is it allows us to control and pace the quantity. So if we haven't emptied our sacks, we don't have sacks to give out. And so it gives us that flexibility, but still open it up. I will say that Guilford staff are overwhelmed with the amount of styrofoam that they're getting because they don't want to limit when you drop it off. They don't want to limit any of that. And I don't know that is a good choice for our community, but
At this time.
at this time,
Okay.
I think that I think it will work very well to just accept it from everywhere at a pace that works for our processing timelines.
And are you looking for another motion to approve the cost of additional super sacks, and what number and how much?
Yeah, so my hope is that this could be the catch-all. We want to use up all of the funding every year. We don't want to have any funding left on the books.
When's
because it goes
the end
away.
of your fiscal year?
The end of the calendar year.
Okay.
And so my hope is the authorization to purchase super sacks is with whatever funding is remaining in the budget. So we'll get, there's another funding request that we have on the agenda tonight. We'll get through that, and then whatever else is left, let's buy super sacks because that will benefit us in the long run.
Yep.
in my opinion. And they're $38 each, so, you know, they're not that expensive, but it's an expense.
Yeah. So should we have a motion to approve the super sacks, or should we come back to that after we talk about the
You
solid
could do
waste?
it either way. If you wanted to do the motion now, it should be something along the lines of with whatever remaining funds exist in the sustainability line item.
Okay. I move that when would the remaining funds be?
So we have to spend it by the end of the month. And so
Okay.
we have one more purchase request
Okay.
on the agenda. And we have a rough amount for that.
Yep.
So it's whatever remaining funds.
Okay. So I move that we designate whatever funds are remaining in the Sustainability Committee's line item to purchase as many super sacks as we can with those monies before the end of the month. Anybody second?
I second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. All right.
And that's helpful because we have a not to exceed amount on the former one. So if we, spend only $50 on the decals, then we could buy more
Perfect.
super sacks.
All right, solid waste planning. We have a facility tour coming up on Monday. Who all is going? I'm going.
I'm going.
Okay.
I think it's on my calendar. I believe I.
Yep.
Yep.
So that will be something we can report on at our January meeting. And anything to discuss about that?
I mean, I guess I'll read, so the names that I have and chime in if there's more: Denise, Dan, Jim, Chetna, Steve Cronin, and then Bob Kelly, who is on the Water Sewer Committee, but was Budget Committee as well, but was also instrumental in our original recycling program. He's going to meet us there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. So we need to figure out vehicles, but the goal is to leave at 9 and we'll come back no later than 1.
Where are we gathering?
I don't know, because I'm not sure what we're taking for vehicles. I'm kind of hoping we can take a minivan thing, but I need to work
From
that
the
out.
town?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We could also just carpool, but why don't we plan a meeting in the back parking lot here?
Okay, sounds good.
And whoever's not taking their vehicle can just park in the town's parking.
That makes sense.
Okay. So meet a little before 9 because we'll want to leave at 9.
And we'll organize how we're going to get there.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And then the second item under that is expense approval for the diversion magnet printing.
Before we leave that, I'm not sure that we talked about this as a committee. I did share this information to you electronically, but for the first, and I want to say it was August, but for the first time ever, the cost for recycling per ton was double the cost for trash removal per ton. And so we're really at a pretty substantial threshold. And I know we're doing this to think deep about our waste management, but that's dramatic. And so I just really wanted to put a point to that and emphasize that. So this committee and anyone who might watch this later hears that fact.
Can you repeat that? Because that's an important
So
thing.
the cost to recycle our material,
At
it's
curbside.
Curbside, cost per ton is double the cost for regular solid waste.
And that's the new contract, and the contract's been signed, or?
So that's within our existing contract. So costs are changing, and
So the
I
new contract
can't
may be
speak-
even higher.
Yeah, it is highly likely the new contract will be higher.
So this was actually discussed at the Budget Recommendation Committee. And one of the reasons Bob Kelly is joining us is he's the chair of the Budget Recommendation Committee. He also has a background in, he runs a small company with his, some relatives of, creating compost. So he has some background in all of this. He's very interested in the fact that our recycling costs are double our solid waste costs at curbside. And what can we do about that? And is what they're collecting curbside under the moniker of recycling and charging us double, is it actually being recycled? So these are all things that I know Bob wants to look at. I'm very interested in that topic as well. Do we need to modify our recycling program in some way? Because that's a huge price difference. If it's actually being recycled, well, maybe we can justify that, but is it actually being recycled? Or are they charging us double and then just putting it in solid, into the landfill? Or some portion of it. So these are all questions that we would, it's great that we're all going. It's wonderful that Steve Cronin and Bob Kelly are joining us that day, because I think some good conversations are going to come out of this.
Are we charged by weight?
Yep.
Is that how they measure the recycling?
But we don't weigh it independently, so they tell us how much it weighed.
Right.
I mean, the whole thing is just very, we don't have a lot of controls.
Yeah.
We really need to take a hard look at our program, because it's 5% of our municipal budget, roughly.
Yeah.
Just under 5%. It's a lot of money.
So another question. So the contract allows the vendor to increase prices during the contract without limit, or to some maximum, or to?
I can't answer
These are
that
all great
intelligently, but yeah.
That's a weird contract
Yep.
to say the vendor can escalate costs.
The fact that we are joining the head of DPW and the chair of the Budget Recommendation Committee, who has a background in this area, is
Yeah.
wonderful.
Okay.
The fact that we're all going out there to take a look at the operation, ask what questions we can,
Yep.
and then come back and discuss amongst ourselves.
Good.
Yeah, we're getting somewhere here. And people are, I sense that people who might have had disparate opinions in the past are starting to align, if that makes sense. There's nothing like double the cost to make us rethink, what are we actually doing here? What are we accomplishing? And it's not viable for us to say, oh, just put it all in the landfill, because then the landfill fills up that much faster. And then it gets really costly after that, because we have to ship it out of the region. So it's not viable to say we don't want to recycle, but we need to look at how we recycle and how much we're willing to pay for it. For curbside recycling.
And what you recycle.
What's that?
And what you recycle.
Well, if they're collecting it and saying it's recycling, but it's not being recycled, well, then that doesn't serve us. That's a hard question that needs to be asked. I will put out there very plainly that I'm very skeptical about curbside recycling. I think that, like so many municipalities in the state, we need to take control of our recycling program and probably require people to bring it to a location, probably the transfer station. And we need to get more refined in our approach to it. It's like, well, this is valuable, so we want to really get narrow casting on
Right.
getting this segmented.
Right.
And this is less valuable, and so what do we do about that?
Right.
I think the single stream
We have
recycling.
no control over our recycling program right now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like a feel-good thing. It's like, oh, we're going to pay you double, so we feel good about the fact that we're recycling.
Yeah.
When maybe we are, maybe we aren't.
Right.
Does that? I'm trying to be very plain here. Yeah, I'm very skeptical about curbside recycling. No, I'm just one voice, but
It's good to get some information, so.
the more I hear and the more I read, we got to take charge of organizing it. In my mind, I really believe that we have to start taking charge of organizing our recycling, which will be inconvenient for folks because they have become used to just putting it on the curb. So anyway.
Yeah. All right. So expense approval for the diversion magnet printing.
Do you want to share?
Yeah, I just made another version of it that's a little bigger, so you can read it and you can
yeah,
pass it
yes.
around. That's the biggest size I could possibly find to get a magnet printed. This is 5x7, so
Wow.
it's the best I could do unless we wanted to take some of the words out, which is also totally fine. If you have any feedback.
I like it.
And so the last printing that we did was about $180 for the smaller magnets, and we got 100, I believe. Again, I would say a not to exceed 250, if that feels about right. And give us some flexibility to try to find the best, source the best provider for that. And then, should there be any funds remaining, we'd put the rest into super SACs.
I could probably cut a few words using my editorial brain. Just,
Have at it.
I'll try that.
Yeah.
No, just looking at it.
I'll send you
Just,
the Canva link. You can
okay.
go away.
And so how
No,
does
that's
that
great.
size feel to you when you're, is that something you put on your fridge?
I think that's good. I mean, I have the existing size on my fridge, and it could definitely be bigger. But it's good. I mean, I think it's a really excellent thing with with the QR codes, and it's very useful.
I move that we allocate an amount not to exceed $250 to purchase the final design of the diversion magnet before the end of the fiscal year.
I second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. And zipping ahead, new member outreach. So we have a alternate position. Is that the?
That's correct.
Okay, just
We have one current vacancy.
a full current vacancy, or an alternate?
I think it's an alternate. Yes, it's an alternate because we moved Julie to the
Full.
voting member.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So.
We didn't, the select board did.
So I guess the discussion is just if you know anybody who's interested in joining the committee as an alternate, please encourage them to talk to any of us, or because it'd be great to have another. I mean, we missed the meeting last month because we didn't have a quorum, and it's hard to skip a month because I feel like we have a lot going on. And is there anything in particular, any particular ways to reach out? But just
So Sarah knows 2 people who are interested.
2.5.
2.5 people
Yeah.
for our one vacancy.
A hobbit?
Yeah, well, one person it wouldn't be available until the middle of 2026, but 2 people expressed great interest in starting now.
oh,
So, and they'd be great.
And they fill out an application form, and it's reviewed by us for approval?
No, so the process is they fill out an application form and turn it into the town manager's executive assistant. She coordinates interviews with the select board, and then it would be at a select board meeting that person would be appointed.
Okay. Sarah, do they know how to fill out an application, where to get one?
I
Okay,
sent it to them.
great, perfect.
thank you.
Thank you.
So whoever acts first gets appointed.
I guess so.
That's how
It's a
that
race.
works. And the others, we should shunt to energy. Because I think they have.
Do they need more people? Energy committee?
There is also someone who has just recently applied to the
Oh,
Energy
okay,
Committee.
great.
So I think they're full, but it does bring up a sensitive topic, which is if individuals are challenged to make the meeting, and we have a couple members that have not been able to meet, this might be the time to still stay involved and still be a part through, the public side of this, but to open up the role for a voting individual or an alternate.
Yeah, and
Just so
that
the committee.
conversation would happen within this committee, and you'd make a recommendation to the select board, so.
I'm sorry, that means like increasing the number of people on the.
No, perhaps asking someone to step back to an alternate
I see.
spot, who maybe isn't always making the meeting.
Oh, yeah, I totally think we should do that.
Maybe just step away from the committee, but that's
Yeah,
your purview, and you make a recommendation to us, and then we make that move. So
Okay.
those are conversations that happen within this committee.
Within the committee.
Or in private,
okay,
yeah. One-on-one,
okay.
between the chair and the individual.
But you got it. Yes. Okay. So any other business? Oh, there was another business.
So, two things. One, Julie, you had wanted to talk about the meeting date.
Speaking
Yes.
of that,
Yes.
for looking at next year, so Wednesdays are kind of tough for me to make, and part of the reason why, no, of course, I wasn't able to make those Wednesdays. I didn't know if it was possible to move the meeting to a different night, and basically any other night of the week works for me. And I can make Wednesdays work, but it's a little tough. And I know we're a large body, and I know that getting a meeting room is a nightmare in and of itself, probably. But I wanted to just
Did we used to
Ask.
do it Tuesday?
Yeah. But you can't do Tuesday.
I think the number one consideration for my mind would be Kristen's availability.
Also.
So I will say, I'm trying to find, because when you had sent that, I had
You sent me a nice
written
list, and I didn't get a chance to look at it, but.
availability of days. And so there's a couple challenges, right?
Yeah.
One, meeting space, staff time, not just for me, but also Exeter TV. Because although they're not in the room with us, they are covering this. And so it's sort of navigating those challenges. And when I looked at it, I'm sorry, I meant to have this more accessible so I could speak clearer to this.
While you're looking, can I ask, is it all of Wednesday, or would there be a different time if we moved the meeting?
My
Or
work
no?
is flexible. I could do like an earlier afternoon, but I'd have to look at my work calendar for that, but,
Okay.
yeah. I don't want to suggest if anyone else have jobs and stuff.
I would never be able to do.
So,
Yeah. Like,
I'm not finding it, I'm
Thanks.
sorry.
Why don't we
oh,
Bring this up
take
next
this
time.
up at
Yeah.
a
Okay.
future meeting?
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Can
But
you
it's
hang
one-
on?
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to float the idea. It's new year, some people are changing, we're changing membership, maybe.
Okay.
The opportunity to look at
So we can-
calendars.
So maybe a one option to just gather some information so that we're ready to make a decision at the next meeting. I could send out some potential, based on the availability of the rooms and Exeter TV, some potential.
And your availability.
Yep.
That would be
potential
great.
Meeting, and
Yep.
then we'll do a doodle poll and come back with the information.
Okay.
at the next-
Do the meetings have to
Thank
be
you.
recorded?
Do meetings have to be recorded?
Yes.
It's
Oh.
highly desired that meetings are recorded.
Okay.
Two quick questions. If the Budget Recommendation Committee is well on its way to working, finalizing something, what's the marker for the line item for the Sustainability Committee in the new budget? Do we know that?
It's level funded.
Level
Yeah.
funded, okay.
Yeah.
And we also had talked about the CIP. Is there any new items in the CIP that we've added?
Can I speak to that?
Sure.
So, Budget Recommendation Committee has finished their work, and it's now moving on to the Select Board. I'm not sure when we will take it up. That's the Chair of the Select Board's prerogative. So that's the answer to that question. That's where we are. But they've made their recommendation. Their work is done, and they'll report out to us on the Select Board. The CIP is also finalized from the BRC, the Budget Recommendation Committee, and it's very bare bones. And that's because there's some drivers of fairly large increases. Those drivers being, this is the first year that we'll be paying for the new public safety building and the bond on that. The select board made a very conscious choice to drive towards recruiting and retaining employees. The landscape for municipal employees is becoming very, it's challenging. Towns are recruiting away employees from other towns. The pool seems to not be very large. And so we've made an effort to retain our existing employees, and we're also trying to recruit and fill spots that have been open for a while. So those were the priorities in this year's budget, and a lot of CIP items that might have normally been brought to the ballot for voters to consider were not brought to the ballot for that reason.
I guess what I'm asking is there a need for any of us to show up at any of the upcoming meetings in support of sustainability or energy issues?
I don't think there's a lot. There's not a lot proposed but that's true for most departments and committees, commissions, and boards. Okay. I think the main big ticket items on the warrant this year will be related to water and sewer issues. Again, that's not the tax rate, that's the water and sewer rates, and those are holding steadier. So we're going to continue to try to roll out our water and sewer projects because it's important to stay on task on that. But there's not a lot.
Is the preliminary budget posted on the web yet, or would it be in the select board packet?
It'll be in the packet when the Budget Recommendation Committee's recommendation of a budget will be in the packet when we take that up in a meeting. Okay. I don't know if we're taking it up this coming Monday or it's 2 weeks from now. Okay. So that's something to keep an eye on in that packet.
And
did that answer the?
Oh yeah, totally. Okay, I just wanted to know if we needed to help support anything.
Jump in.
I do think the street sweeper is coming back, and so although like on its surface, street sweeping doesn't really feel like a sustainable initiative or a sustainability related initiative, it's a dramatic component to us reducing the nitrogen load to our rivers because all of that nitrogen binds to the dirt and soil that's on our streets, and street sweeping is the most effective thing that we can do.
Yeah.
Cheap, cost-effective thing that we can do to address that. And so should that be on the warrant this year? I'm pretty sure it is in the CIP.
It's been recommended to go to the warrant. Okay. And we're obligated under some of our agreements with both DES and perhaps as well the Environmental Protection Agency at the federal level to try to convince our voters to approve that this year. Okay. They did not. It passed. It had a majority, but it didn't have the super majority it needed under the rules of our form of government to pass last year. So we're very focused on making sure that gets the super majority it needs. Okay. And I think there's, am I incorrect in remembering that if we pass it, there is some debt forgiveness that's being offered through the state. So it would really, that would be a great thing for all of us to support because it does go to the commitments we've made to reduce the amount of nitrogen we're loading into the Great Bay.
Yeah, and I think water quality is one of our axes of sustainability, along with air quality, water quality, green space. You know, you think of however many multi-axis that is, that's an issue for us.
And to be fair, we did not do a good job as a select board last year presenting that in its full, all the implications of not approving the street sweeper. So we're very focused on doing a better job of creating a web of meaning around that.
And we our committee can absolutely be involved in promoting and educating the public about that.
Absolutely. All.
Because I wouldn't
committees,
necessarily
commissions,
think of a street sweeper from that perspective, but. All right, any other new business, old
Thanks,
business, in between
I just
business?
have one item.
Yes.
I'm really excited to share this. I have a request going to go before the select board on Monday with Corey Stevens, who's our finance director, with the contract for the renewable energy credits for our solar array. And so that's a big component. Obviously, the array is up and running, getting through the contract took some time, but that's one of the components that we'll have to regain some income and offset the cost of the array. So I'm excited to share that update.
That's next Monday.
It's been a bit. Yep.
See, sustainability saves money.
It does.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I entertain a motion to adjourn this very successful meeting.
I second.
All those in favor?
Right?
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film,